Good morning. We're going to look at some basic algebraic fractions. I think most of this should be work that you've seen before, but it's just a reminder basically. We're going to start off with looking at some cancelling, and when you've got a nice simple fraction like this, do it in bits. If it's a combination of numbers and different letters, just think, well, if I covered up the D's and the E's, I've got 5 over 30, which is something over 6. The D squared and D squared cancel out. The E divided by E cubed becomes 1 over E squared. So it's as simple as that. So the 5 over 30 cancelling down to get 6. The D squared's cancelling out, and the E over E cubed, 1 over E squared. Nice and straightforward. When I've got algebraic fractions like this, it's factorising. Now the top obviously has to be x minus 3, x plus 3, difference of 2 squares. I'm hoping that one of these two ones here will be one of these. So I'm hoping to have an x and a 3 into there somewhere or other with either a minus or a plus. And to get that, I'm looking at minus 3 and x minus 6, and therefore the x minus 3 can cancel out as a common factor to leave me with x plus 3, x minus 6. For this one, a bit of extra work to do first. I've got numbers common all over the place. I'm going to take out the fact I've got common factor of 3 and then x at the top. So take out 3x, leaving with 2x minus 5. I'm hoping that that 2x minus 5 is going to be a factor of this. But I've got another number common factor here. It might make sense first off to take out the 6 to make my numbers as small as possible. And then 6 into 35. It's looking good so far. And the 3 and the 6 I can cancel either now or later on. Get that. So I've got x over 2, and then bracket 2x minus 5. I'm hoping 2x minus 5 is one bracket, and then x plus 1 to give me that. And does that give me the minus 3x minus 5 plus 2 is fine. And then there we go, x on the top, and 2 bracket x plus 1 on the bottom, or 2x plus 2. And that's cancelling down. Multiplying and dividing fractions are totally different than adding and subtracting, because there's lots of cancelling going on when you're multiplying. To multiply, you can do top times top on the top, bottom times bottom on the bottom. What I wouldn't do in these number cases here, though, I wouldn't times first and then cancel down, because I'm making my numbers bigger. You know, your 16 times table, your 27 times table might be better than mine, but what I'm doing, I'm treating this, because I can do the times in any order, I can treat it as 16 times 3 on the top and 4 times 27 on the bottom. And do the 16 divided by 4, 4. And the 3 divided by 27, 9, that way around. So I can cancel down there to get the 4, and I can cancel down there to get the 9. I don't have to rewrite it. I can cancel across from one bit to another, and that way and that way. So in this case here, I can divide by 5 to get 2 and 5, and I can divide by the b, cancels out, and divide by the 3 to get 3 there. It becomes quite messy. You've got to realise I've got 2 and the a there, 3 and another a to get 6 a squared, and I've got b on the bottom and 5 there. So the worry is doing this. You lose little bits and bats that haven't been cancelled out. If you want to take an extra minute to rewrite it, then cancel down top and bottom so it's clear to yourself. That might be better. So it's up to you, as long as you're getting it right all the time. When I'm timesing fractions like this, well, same deal. Factorise it all first, and then cancel out any common factors. So top of this one, 4x squared minus 9, and 2x minus 3, 2x plus 3, and times x bracket x plus 1. And on the bottom here, x squared plus 2x plus 1, x plus 1 all squared, and times the 2x minus 3. So that bracket can cancel with that one. The x plus 1 cancel with one of the x plus 1s. I'm left with x bracket 2x add 3 on the top, and just the x plus 1 on the bottom. And there we go. Notice, by the way, fraction line is a hidden bracket. Okay, just we've seen it before, realise that when we put that in, we tend not to have to write the brackets, but it's there. And lastly, for now, dividing fractions. Keep, change, flip. So if I've got a fraction divided by another one, how do I do it? I keep the first one as it is, x cubed minus x, and then change the divide to times, and the one I'm dividing by, I flip upside down. And then I'm off and running. I can do 12 over 4 times x plus 1, and on the bottom, x bracket x squared minus 1. That cancels down to give me 3 x plus 1 x plus 1 x minus 1, difference 2 squares again, cancels that down, leaves me with 3 bracket x minus 1 times by the x. Okay? Okay, adding and subtracting, totally different techniques than times and dividing. Where possible, you want to look for a common denominator. So when I've got ones like this, you can find any common denominator by just times them together and cross-multiplying, but you're making your expressions bigger than you potentially have to. Look to, if you can, to try and find the lowest common denominator. I reckon they set this up so that the second, it's not 1 over, it's 2 over, the second one, the a minus 2, and remember, hidden brackets, be careful of that minus there. I'm hoping that, as that is a plus 2, I'm going to have a plus 2 on the bottom of this one, and then 2a minus 3 to give me the minus 6. As a check, I've got plus 4a minus 3a, which is plus a. I'm good to go. I've therefore got a common factor on the denominators of a plus 2. So my lowest common denominator is just the a plus 2 and the 2a minus 3. So the end one is already of the form that I want. This one, I was missing from the denominator the 2a minus 3, so I need to multiply the 2 just by the 2a minus 3. And ties it all out, 4a minus 6, and that's why the brackets are important here, because minus a plus 2, ding ding ding, minus sign mistake potential there, a plus 2, 2a minus 3, and tidy it all up. I've got 3a minus 6 plus 2 minus 4. Doesn't factorise at all. There's always the potential that it could cancel down even further. That's why we look to tidy up. And that's that. So I've chosen my lowest common denominator rather than just times them together and end up with a quadratic on the top and a cubic on the bottom, and look to cancel down, look to try and find the lowest common denominator if you can. The fact it's minus in the middle, just be aware of the fact the division lines are hidden brackets, and we put that in there, that minus and that minus, to cause that issue there. Plus 1, nice and straightforward. I don't know why this wasn't the example before, but it wasn't. Simply x minus 2, x plus 1, x minus 2, x plus 1, and cross multiply. 3 bracket x plus 1 gives me the equivalent to that first fraction, and then 4 bracket x minus 2 gives me the equivalent to the second fraction. Tidy it all out, 3x plus 3 plus 4x minus 8 over the brackets on the bottom. Do not, unless you really have to, times the bottom out at all. 7x and plus 3 minus 8 minus 5. Doesn't cancel down, so that is my answer.